Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EarthtonesGirl Podcast. This is Earth Vlog number 49. My name is Denise, and I'm coming to you today from my home in Yonkers, New York. You can find me on the web as EarthtonesGirl. I am most active on Instagram. I'm also on Ravelry. The podcast has a Ravelry group. There's also an email address, which is earthtonesgirl@gmail.com. I will link to everything for you down below. I am also the host of the No Fear sock knitting class that you can find right here on my YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. To new viewers, welcome. There have been quite a few new viewers lately, or new subscribers, so welcome to my earthy little corner of the world. And to returning viewers, the biggest, warmest, open arms welcome back to all of you. I'm so glad that you can be here with me to share a little bit of time, a little bit of making time. First off, thank you so much for the response to my last vlog. It was just, I feel so heard and so supported, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. I was blown away by the comments, so thank you, by the number of comments. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, that meant so much to me. Thank you. This episode today is all about knitting. I feel like, excuse me, I feel like getting all of that off my chest. And I know the last two vlogs have been a little chatty, but I really needed to just clear my head, clear my heart, clear space. And oh my gosh, I've been knitting and making and working on the shop and just fun things. So we'll get into all of that in just a second. Glancing just down at my notes for a minute. So the last 2 weeks have been really good, really good. Well, there's been one little down, but anyway, we took the kids, we're in school, everything's going well, and we decided last week to take the kids to this annual festival called Blaze. It's an annual event, not really a festival, called Blaze, and it is basically a huge pumpkin display. There's hundreds of thousands of pumpkins on display up in the Hudson Valley here in New York, and we've been going up for the last maybe 4 years now, 3-4 years. It's so amazing, so wonderful. The colors, it's all done in the evening. You go in the evening into the night, and it's really magical. I mean, the people that take their time to carve these pumpkins and put these displays together is just amazing. So that was one of the things that we did this past, or 2 weeks ago, since my last episode. And this past week, we were responsible and we did the right thing. We went and got our flu shots. Everything went really well for the kids. Kira got a little sniffle, just as a little side effect, and I came down with stuff. It started as a sniffle and then became, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know, started as a sniffle, became big snotty runny nose, and that became sneezing, which then turned into a cough. Today's the first day. I had the flu shot this past Tuesday. Today's Friday, October 23rd, and I got my flu shot on Tuesday, and today's the first day that I'm actually starting to feel better. Like, oh my gosh, my eyes are open. I feel awake for the first time, but I do have this lingering so which happens to me normally when I have a cold. My colds always end with a lingering cough. So called the doctor. She said I'm not contagious. It's just a side effect of, I was contagious a couple of days ago, but because I did come down with a cold, but I'm not now. So everybody's fine. I wore my mask. Everything's okay. But yeah, that's what's been going on. Lots of knitting, lots of making. I got new pins. That's what I'm trying to say. Finally got my reorder of Fearless Sock Knitter pins. Those came in, but I'm going to talk about the shop more in a little bit. But yeah, good things coming to the shop, hopefully in the next week or so. So I'll talk about that more in a minute. Little housekeeping news. I did pick the winners of the Falling Leaves sock cowl. Congratulations again. The prizes have already gone out, but I still want to congratulate them here and name them here. The names are, the first winner was Julie, who is JN Langford on Instagram, and she knit an incredible pair of wood nymph shorties. I will link to the pattern down below. They were so beautiful. She did them in yellow and brown. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So congratulations, Julie, if you're watching. And the other winner, I picked a winner from the Ravelry group and one from Instagram. So the other winner was Jody, who is Jody_knits a lot. Congratulations, Jody. And she knit the Coffee Talk socks by Tracy Miller, who is one of the grocery girls. And those were also incredibly beautiful. Lingering cough. Maybe if I slow down, I won't cough so much. Okay, there we go. I refuse to let this cough stop me from recording this episode. I feel like once I got all of that off my chest last week, time has been presenting itself. It's funny how the universe works that way. It's really interesting. So I had a little bit of time right now, and I said, if I'm coughing, I will just say, excuse me, and I'm going to record. So here I am. So I do apologize for the coughing. But yes, so congratulations to the winners. Prizes have gone out, like I said. We have one more month to go, or a little less than a month. The cowl ends on November 15th. Please keep posting your socks to the FO thread in the Ravelry group. Please keep using the hashtag on Instagram. And again, I will be picking a winner from Ravelry as well as Instagram for November. And Socktober is in full swing. As I said, it's the 23rd, so we only have a few days left to the month. Mars and I are Mars, who is Hey Brown Berry, she and I are sort of unofficially co-hosting this sock cowl, officially hosting this sock cowl, and we're both so excited. And Mars, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, Mars is donating a portion of the proceeds from her pattern sales to colorofchange.org. So if you're interested in donating to that, I will link to everything down below for you. Please go and purchase one of her patterns. They are absolutely beautiful. I talked about them in a past episode. She's got about 4 or 5 stunning patterns. So please go and have a look. Please consider purchasing. And again, a portion of those sales will be going to Color of Change. So thank you for that. There is more housekeeping news regarding the shop, but I'll talk about that at the end. So let's just talk knitting. 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Let's talk knitting. My Mojo, again, just to go back to it for 2 more seconds, I feel like getting that stuff and my thoughts and my feelings off my chest and out of my head has freed me so much. And even though I've only completed 1 sock in the last 2 weeks, I have been knitting like crazy and making and sewing. So it's been so cathartic. Is that the word? I think that's the word. So let's just jump right in with the knitting. I did finish. Now, I think I mentioned these last week. I think I started these. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about it now. Legacy Fiber Arts put out a countdown to Halloween called the 13 Screams of Halloween, and I have completed the first sock. So spoiler alert right now. Spoiler. I need that horn that goes dang, dang, dang. Gosh, can you hear how raspy my voice is? I'm so sorry. That sounds awful. So spoiler alert, if you have purchased the 13 Screams of Christmas and do not want to see all 13 colors, avert your eyes. Look away now. Okay, I'm giving you a moment of warning. Here it is. Here is my sock. Ta-da! Oh, look at that, guys. 13 Screams. All 13 colors are in this one sock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I realized I was making my stripes really small here, and I didn't really have a plan. I just figured I would do all 13 and then start again, but I really wanted all of them to just be in one sock. So once I put the heel in, I just started making the stripes a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. And let's pull back a little bit. There it is, all 13. Hi, Sue and Chelsea, if you're watching. Oh my gosh, these colors are so Halloween-y and perfect. I love making scrappy socks. I always had a problem with scrappy socks. They made me nervous with how many repeats to do in the color, but I just said, you know what, I'm gonna wing it. I didn't have a plan for this, and it was so freeing. I just knit it, and I love how it turned out. So I have already cast on, really teeny tiny, but I've already cast on the second sock. So I will be working on that this afternoon. I'm going to be chatting with a friend later, just a little FaceTime chat. So I will be knitting and working on sock number 2. And I know what some of you are thinking. These are not necessarily my colors, like this green heel, but I love it. It's so perfect for the season. It really is. And I love that it starts with the more traditional colors and then sort of morphs into more, kind of Frankenstein-y, Julie Dracula-ish, witchy kind of colors. That's my interpretation of the colors. So here it is. Second sock is already on needles, and this is just my vanilla sock. My shorty sock pattern. I've just lengthened the leg. So question for you. Would you guys want I think I said I was going to do this, but my brain is a sieve right now, so I'm just putting it out there. Would you all want a full-size vanilla sock pattern, maybe with a different heel? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. But here it is. So I did complete that. Yeah. And what's the second sock gonna look like? No idea. I will put all 13 colors in there. I'm not gonna repeat any, but I don't have a clue yet how I'm going to do the striping. I'm just going to knit until I get tired of a color, and then I'm gonna change to the next. So yeah, there's that. I wanted to show you progress on my sweater. Oops. What did I drop? Phone case. Progress on my sweater, you guys. I don't think I was at this point last time. If I was, I apologize, but you can never get old looking at a sweater. I have separated for front and back. So I think I did talk about this, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. Did separate for the front and back. So I've tried it on. It fits perfectly. Love it so much. I'm so excited about this. So I'm still working on this. Yeah. What else to say about this sweater? I've had a couple of people ask me about knitting the sweater. Is this pattern hard to follow? Is it a good pattern to follow if you're new to sweater knitting? I am using Ann Budd's book. It's the Knitter's Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters. I will put a link to that, just a simple Amazon link to that down below, or if Ann Budd has it on her website, I'll link there. But the point is, there will be a link to the book. And the book, just to talk about it for a minute, the book is a guide. So in the book are 4 to maybe 5 to 6 basic sweater designs. So you have your drop shoulder, set-in sleeve, raglan, saddle shoulder. I think that's it. Maybe 1 or 2 more. And then there is a pullover and cardigan version for each. And there is V-neck and crew neck versions of each. So there are potentially tons of combinations that you can knit in this book. And it's sort of a like create your own. Remember those books, like create your own mystery type books? Is that what they were called? Where you pick the ending of your book. So you can skip ahead to this chapter to see what this happens, or take this path or take that path. So the same principle applies with this book. You decide, I want to knit a raglan sweater. Great, go to that section in the book. Then you've picked your yarn. So you've picked your yarn, you love this yarn, you've got a sweater's quantity of it, and now how much do you need? What gauge are you getting? How much of it do you need for the sweater? So you have a sweater's quantity, but it tells you if you're getting, so basically it has instructions for fingering, sport, DK, worsted, bulky. And then you can pick, sorry, I've got the window open and they're gardening in the yard adjacent to ours, so I'm sorry if you can hear the weed whacker out there. Once you've gotten your gauge, with the yarn that you're using, and you've tallied how much yardage you have, you can then pick what size you want to make based on the gauge that you're getting, and then check your yardage to be sure you have enough, and just start knitting your sweater. You basically follow along, cast on this many stitches, do this many increases, put your markers here. So it really does take you through from start to finish how to knit the sweater. So it also gives you the opportunity to put some things in if you wanted to add a cable pattern, if you wanted to add a little color work, if you wanted to do a split hem. It really is, I just glanced out the window. The gardener is actually my father-in-law, who is out there with the weed whacker. So I could yell out the window, but he's doing us a favor, so I can't do that. I hope it's not annoying. Maybe I should pull the window down, but then I'm going to be roasting. Okay, don't worry. I'll adjust the volume, so don't worry about it. Anyway, that is basically how you use the book. So what I'm doing, and I'm also going to be putting in a faux seam on the side. So it says to cast on, I think this may be 11 stitches that I was supposed to cast on as the little like bridge after you've separated. So this this is what's going to be right under your arm, and I put in an extra stitch. As you can see, I have my little marker here, and I'm going to put in a faux seam, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get to it. A faux seam is, this sweater is knit completely in the round, so I find with my body shape, it tends to look, the sweater looks barrelish, like just this round tube, as opposed to more of a front and a back of the sweater. So what I've done in the past is I will put in an extra stitch, and I unravel that one stitch all the way down to the bottom. I know that sounds very scary, but I unravel it all the way down to the bottom, and then we'll pick up so how you pick it up, you pick up one and then two. One and then, so you're picking up the bars in between, the same way that you would pick up a drop stitch, but instead of picking up every strand, you're alternating between picking up one and then picking up two, picking up one, picking up two. And what that does is you're decreasing the fabric just in that one line on either side, so it causes it to kind of push out a little bit, and it really gives you the illusion of a front and a back, almost as if you had sewn it together. I love the look of sewing sweater pieces together. I love the construction of that, and I find they tend to be really strong, hardy sweaters. So I learned over the years how to do that, even though I'm knitting my sweater in the round. I will do the same thing with the sleeve. I will leave an extra stitch between the decreases and do the same thing, drop down and pick it up. So again, it gives your sweater a slightly more polished look. So these are just things I've learned over the years. But they're also things you can apply to your sweater. So if you see a feature like a split hem, if you see a feature like that, you can plug that into your sweater that you're knitting with this book. I hope that's clear. That may be as clear as mud to some of you, but I will keep showing you the sweater as I knit it. So I think it will become clearer as I go. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. And I think it is because I'm just gonna stand up and close the window. Okay, is that a little better? I think it's a little better. Sorry about that. But now Mama's roasting. I am at that point in my life where I get power surges. I won't go into that right now. For those of you that can relate, you can relate. So anyway, working on that. Now, again, if you've been with me for a little while with the podcast, you know that I was working on the litmus cowl. That is still on the needles. It's in my little stack over there, my little whip pile over there. But I want a cowl, but I want something thicker, bigger, quicker, something a lot quicker to knit. That's sort of, I pick that up when I'm in the mood and put it down, but I really wanted something quicker. And every now and then a project comes along, you know, you're falling down the rabbit hole of Instagram or Ravelry, and you're just kind of cruising along, minding your own business. And then all of a sudden this pattern pops in front of you, this sweater, this hat, mittens, socks, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, that's it. That's what I want to drop everything and knit. And I found that or thought I found that the other day when I was looking around and there was a cowl by Blue Sky Fibers. I'm totally blanking on the name. I'll put it on the screen. But the cowl, one half of the cowl, I'll also see if I can put a picture in. One half of the cowl had a beautiful colorwork portion, and then the other half had a completely different design. So it almost, depending on how you wear it, it almost looks like two cowls. And I loved it, but there's something about it. But continue to look around, and then I found this cowl. Same basic principle. The yarn weight is the same. It's a Mobius. So that means instead of the tube this way, it just kind of twists. I'm not doing that right with my hands, but there is a twist in it. So you have this beautiful fold in the cowl. And let me see if there's another picture of it. Here it is. Here, if I go like this. I don't want to give anything away. There's another picture of it right here. That's the Mobius, the little twist in it. But I loved it. It was colorwork. It's big yarn. It will go quickly. And the pattern is continuous. It's the same pattern. It's continuous all the way around. And I fell madly in love with this. There's something about knitting colorwork that I absolutely love to do. It makes me feel, I don't know if smart's the word. There's just something about it. And watching the yarn, I usually, the way I knit colorwork, I have a yarn in each hand, a color in each hand. And it just makes me feel like I'm a knitter. I know that sounds so silly, but it really just makes me feel so good when I'm doing it. And I love the rhythm. You get into a rhythm with it. And I love it so much. So I decided, okay, that's what I want to make. But do I have the yarn in my stash? I really don't want to buy anything. So I went stash diving and found my colors. And oh my gosh. So I'm so psyched to do this. Here they are, guys. Look at this. Oh, I can't wait. This is it's Blue Sky Fibers, and it's wool stock. It is, let me see here. It's Highland wool. Find Highland wool. These are 50-gram skeins, and it's 123 yards. So I have perfect. They are relatively high contrasting, but I think they'll still blend. So the red will be, this is Cranberry Compote is the name of this color. Here, I'll tell you the names, and I'll put them in the box down below. This is Cast Iron, Cranberry Compote. I think this is just maybe natural. Highland Fleece is the name of this one. And this one is a full skein already wound up, because I think I was going to use it for something else. And this color is dark chocolate. How perfect. I'm just going to tuck that back in there. So yeah, I am going to wind up these three, the other three. Oh my gosh, look at that. I always make that sound here when I'm so excited. I can't wait to work on this. I want something big and fluffy, because it's going to be lots of outside time coming soon. I'm also bursting to tell you something else, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until we get a little bit closer, because I don't want to torture you. We have from today 28 days until this surprise. So maybe when we get to 14 days, when we're 2 weeks out, then I will share it with you. So remind me, hold me to, I'm not going to forget, because it's huge. So I will be sharing it with you, but there will be lots of outside time. So I'm going to need my woolens to keep warm. And I also found this gorgeous skein. This is by A Wing and a Prayer. It is breed specific yarn from Beloved Flocks. And this is 100%, it's a 3-ply Aran, a Shetland, 100% wool, 6 wraps to the inch. So it's about an Aran weight. And I think this is about a 210 yards. I have 2 of these, and Paige Miller, who is the owner of Frame and Fiber in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. She's also Frame and Fiber on Instagram. And another friend, Allison, who is Daisy Lane Designs, the three of us bought these at Rhinebeck last year. And there is the, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on the name of it. It's a hat. Oh my gosh. Early Rise. It's the Early Rise hat. Those two, my two friends are going to be, that sounded awkward. Sorry. They are going to be making the hat, and I decided to make it a cowl instead. It is so cabley. It's so rich and beautiful. I'll try to put a picture in here for you. Oh my gosh. I just don't want to stuff all these curls under a hat right now. It just makes my hair just puff and go crazy. And I really do get a little too hot, but I can wear a cowl. So I'm going to be making a cowl. Just instead of knitting the decreases for the top, I'm just going to knit it a little bit longer, and it will be this big squishy cowl yumminess. And this wool is so lanolly. Like if you really like stick your finger in here and squeeze, there's lanolin on your hand, and it is just delicious. I remember knitting a sweater, oh my gosh, years ago, before I was even married, and I was in my own apartment, and life was quiet and simple. I love my life now, but I miss those days too. And I was knitting a sweater, and it was all lanolin. I mean, my needles were greasy by the time. By the end of the knitting day, there was a slick sheen of grease on my needles, and my husband, now boyfriend at the time, would walk in and go, "What is that smell?" He's like, "What are you doing in here? Are there farm animals in the bathroom?" I'm like, "Well, not quite, honey, but they're here." Love that sweater. I haven't worn it in a while, but it's this big double-breasted hooded gorgeousness, and I knit it from an Ann Budd book. I just took a cardigan pattern. I should show that. Next time I talk about this, the raglan sweater, I'll bring that one out to show you. But I love when the wool is so delicious like that. It's it's as close to the sheep as you can get. So so this is going to be an Early Rise cowl. I have my yarn for them, and I didn't even say the name of this one. Duh. In case you didn't see it, it is the Moon Wake cowl. That is the name. I held it here but realized I didn't say the name. And it is by Andrea Mowry. So there we go. Yay. I'm really excited about this. Really excited. So there's lots of knitting going on. There is sewing going on, and that will be for the shop update. I'm just going to talk to you about that real quick. Pins have come in, so I am getting those all on the backing cards right now, and I will be restocking the shop next week. I will post here on the community board, and I know some of you have said that you don't see the community board on your iPads. I get that. You can see it on your smartphone. You can see it on computers. I will post it on a blog post on the website, and I will also, I'm just checking the time, and that's why I'm glancing off to my left. I will try to post it in as many places as I can. Instagram is always the best place to find me. It is where I'm the most active, and I will post it to Instagram as well, with enough notice so everybody has a fair shot. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I will also have EarthtonesGirl stickers, and there will be a couple of project bags that are going to be going in. And I will try to do a separate video, even if it's just 5 minutes, just a separate video showing you everything that's going into the shop and the dates and all of that stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'm really psyched to work on the shop. Other housekeeping news that I forgot. I will be teaching with Vogue Knitting Live next month in November. It will be the last time I'm teaching with them for a few months. I'm definitely taking December off, and possibly, or a couple of months, possibly January as well. It's just time for a little bit of a break. I want to focus on the shop and focus on some other things. One of which is the surprise that I will share with you later. So, I'm being very mysterious right now, but it is that season to be mysterious. So, so if you were interested in taking either my No Fear sock knitting class or my sock knitting tips and tricks, I will link to the registration page for that down below. So yeah, please register if you are interested. I would love to see you in class. So we talked about Vogue, we talked about the shop. Yeah, I think we covered everything. And I wanted to talk about audiobooks just for a minute. It's what do you all do when you're knitting? I listen to audiobooks a lot. In the rare moments that I actually have quiet time, which is usually early morning or late in the evening after the kids go to bed, I listen to audiobooks. I used to be a book reader, like a physical turn the pages book reader, and love that. And I still love the written word. I will always love it. When you have an author that writes and the writing starts to almost sound like music because the words have been put together so beautifully, oh, it's just, oh, even if it's not poetry, it's poetry. But now listening to audiobooks, the first audiobook I ever listened to was Harry Potter. I listened to all 7 books in 1 month. I think that was 2008 when the last book came out. And oh my gosh, I was hooked. I was also ruined because Jim Dale is the narrator, and he performed the books. I have since learned that you have narrators that perform the books and narrators that read to you. Once I made that distinction and realized that is what was happening, which is why some narrators sound so good and others just sound I was able to listen. It opened me up to listening to a lot more books. And I read that somewhere. I don't even know where I read it. But again, the difference between acting the book out for you and just reading the book to you. And once I made that distinction, I was like, oh, all right, this one's acting it out. Great. You get into the right mindset. Or this one's just reading to you. Okay, get into that mindset. So I'm currently listening to Perfume by Patrick Susskind. I will link to that down below. And I saw the movie years ago. It's the full title is Perfume, the Story of a Murderer. Y'all are probably like, oh my gosh, Denise, you're reading something so dark. Yes, I am. I definitely have a bit of a dark side. I just don't share it here with you all. You can't share everything. But it's between the beauty of the writing. It's, I believe, translated from German or French. I don't remember which. Between the beauty of the words and the lyricalness of it, and then the narrator's voice. Oh my gosh, I don't want this book to end. I've got about 7 hours left and I'm listening to it so slowly, and there's so much more beauty and richness in the book than in the movie. I wanted this to have an audiobook for so long and it didn't. And lazy me, I was like, I can't sit and read the book. So anyway, it's amazing. The audiobook is amazing. And then I just started, so I highly recommend that if you are in the mood for something that, it's dark. I'm not going to lie. It's a very dark story, but it's so good. And I'm also listening to, which I just started, Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. I'm a huge Alice Hoffman fan. I love Practical Magic, love the movie. You guys, the book puts the movie to shame. The book is so, again, beautifully written, much deeper story, more background. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I've now listened to The Rules of Magic, which was a prequel to Practical Magic. And this is now Magic Lessons, which is sort of a prequel to the prequel. So this is where the story begins with Maria Owens and her origins and all of that, if you are aware of this, or if you're familiar with the story. So yeah, that is what I'm listening. Those are my 2 main audiobooks right now. I've got a couple of other little ones that I'll pop into every now and then. But these are the 2 that I'm focused on right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I'm also listening to Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, because my daughter is reading it for school. So I said to her, just to encourage her along, I told her that I would listen or read it, but again, I'm not going to read it. I'm listening. It's great. It's so entertaining. And I've always loved mythology, and this is a kind of a spin on, a new take on mythology. It's so great. That's another really, really great one. So that is what I do when I knit. And that is what I've been knitting, and that's shop news and housekeeping news. And this feels so good to be here with you today. That's all I've got for now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy I got this recorded. I really am. My voice held out. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you're all doing really well, enjoying the season. Enjoy your knitting, your making, your sewing, whatever it is that you're doing that is bringing you joy. Enjoy, and I will see you again really soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.